Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we peel back the layers of big companies and see if their fancy reports hold up to a serious look in the mirror. This time around, we're diving deep into LSB Industries Incorporated's annual report, a document that is supposed to tell us how they've been doing. Let's see if this report spills the beans on their actual performance. Now, if you are into understanding how companies really make and spend their money, you definitely want to stick around. We'll be looking at their sales, their profits, and yes, even their debt. Before we dive in, if you like getting the real story behind corporate filings, make sure you are subscribed and hit that notification bell. And hey, we've got a growing community over on our Discord server, linked in the description below, where we break down these filings and more. Come join the conversation. So LSB Industries, they make chemicals, right? Things like ammonia and fertilizers for farms, and also for industrial uses. They focus on being a leader in low and no carbon products. They bought back some of their own stock, which can be a good sign if they think their stock is a good deal or a way to boost earnings per S-Hair. They had a big plan to repurchase stock authorized, and they did buy some back. This means less of their stock is out there, which can make the remaining shares more valuable if the company does well. Let's jump into the numbers for 2025. Their total sales were about $615 million. That's up from $522 million in 2024. That is a pretty good jump, an 18% increase. This means they sold more stuff, which is generally a good thing. And what about their profit from selling these goods after they pay for the materials and making them well? That's gross profit. In 2025, their gross profit was $104 million. That's a huge jump up from just $47 million in 2024. Their gross profit percentage went from about 9% to 17%. This means for every dollar they sold, they kept a lot more of it as profit than the year before. This is a really positive sign. They also talk about something called adjusted gross profit, which basically means they take out certain expenses like depreciation and repairs from their turnaround projects. This adjusted number went from about 30.6% in 2024 to 31.2% in 2025. While the overall gross profit really improved, this adjusted number staying pretty similar suggests that the real turnaround in profit came from higher sales and better pricing, not necessarily from cutting those specific big repair costs. Looking at their product line, sales of an nitric acid went up by 14%, yuan. That is another fertilizer product, sales shot up by 37%. Ammonia sales were a little slower, up only 7%. It looks like they are selling more of their higher value products, which is part of their strategy. Now remember those big repair projects, the turnarounds. In 2024, they had a lot of turnaround expenses, about $37 million. In 2025, that number dropped dramatically to just $6 million. This big drop in turnaround costs really helped boost their reported profit in 2025. It's good that they had fewer major shutdowns, but it does make it important to remember that last year's profit picture was hit hard by those big repair bills. So after all the income and all the bills, what's left in 2025, they had a net income of about $24.6 million. That's a massive swing from 2024, when they actually had a net loss of almost $19.4 million. This is a really big comeback and a strong indicator that they turned things around financially in 25. Let's talk about cash. How much money do they have on hand and how easily can they pay their bills? At the end of 2025, they had about $148.5 million in cash and investments. That sounds like a lot, and it is. They also have access to a credit line, which is like a safety net for cash. They seem to have enough money to keep things running smoothly. Scroll Senior secured Air Notes due 2028 Scroll. Now, the debt, companies often have debt, and LSB Incorporated is no exception. They have senior secured notes due in 2028, and at the end of 2025, they owed about $438.6 million on those notes. But they have been paying it down. They repurchased some of these notes in 2025 and 2024, which reduces their future interest payments and their overall debt load. Okay, let's look at the risks. Companies have to tell us what could go wrong, and LSB Incorporated has a long list. They worry about the cost and availability of raw materials like natural gas, which is key to making their products. Prices for these can swing wildly, and if they can't pass those costs on to customers, their profits suffer because they rely on a few main facilities. Any problem at one of these could really mess things up. They also mention the dangers of working with chemicals, which is understandable. These operations involve explosions, fires, and leaks. It's pretty intense stuff. They also worry about cybersecurity, the risk of their computer systems being hacked, which is a growing concern for all companies. And then there is the whole competition thing they are up against many other larger chemical companies. Transportation costs are also a worry, especially for fertilizers. It's a big chunk of their expenses, and if shipping prices go up, it eats into their profits. Now, an interesting point of influence, Todd Bully, through an affiliate, owns a good chunk of the company's stock, about 21%. This gives him and his group a lot of say in how the company is run, including who sits on the board. This kind of influence can be good if the major shareholder is aligned with long-term success. But it also means fewer other shareholders have a strong voice. Looking ahead, their strategy is to be a leader in low and no carbon products. They are exploring ways to capture carbon dioxide and produce low carbon ammonia. This is a big move towards being more environmentally friendly and tapping into a growing market. They signed a deal to supply low carbon ammonium nitrate solution, which is a positive step. What are their strengths? They have chemical plants in good locations, giving them advantages in getting raw materials and shipping products. They also benefit from lower natural gas costs compared to some international competitors. Diversified revenue streams, meaning they sell to both farm businesses and industrial customers, help smooth out their financial results. In terms of production, they made about 826,000 tons of ammonia in 2025, which was more than in 2024 because they didn't have as many big repair projects. They expect production to be a little lower in 2026 because of planned maintenance. So, what is the bottom line? LSB Industries had a really strong year in 2025, especially compared to the tough year they had in 2024. Sales are up, profits are way up, and they're managing their debt better by buying back some of it. Their biggest achievement was turning a loss into a solid profit driven by higher sales and fewer costly repairs. However, it is not all sunshine. The risk factors they list are real. The volatility in raw material prices, especially natural gas, is a constant challenge. Their reliance on a few key facilities is also a concern. And while they are making big moves into low carbon products, that market is still developing, so it is a bit of a gamble. Plus, the influence of major shareholders like Todd Bully means you should always keep an eye on how those decisions impact the company. Overall, LSB Industries seems to be heading in the right direction, showing a strong recovery and strategic shifts. But they are in a tough, cyclical industry, and they need to keep a close eye on costs, manage their debt wisely, and hopefully their bet on low-carbon products pays off. That is our breakdown of LSB Industries Incorporated's annual report. What is your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments if this analysis was valuable. Hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.